Very good morning. Today we are going to start with another topic on nephrotic syndrome. I'm Dr. Janak Patel. I'll be talking on nephrotic syndrome. Now this is a picture, classical picture of a nephrotic syndrome. You can see generalized anasarca and urine is showing you a foaming, which means there is a heavy proteinuria. We'll be talking under the different headings: definition, etiology, pathophysiology, clinical features, investigations, differential diagnosis, treatment, and complications. Nephrotic syndrome, by definition, it is a disorder which involves glomerular of different etiology, but it is characterized by certain classical features we call nephrotic range of proteinuria. What is the nephrotic range of proteinuria? Early morning urine sample shows protein more than 3 to 4 plus on a dipstick or by a boiling test, or you do a spot urine creatinine ratio, which we also call as a urine albumin creatinine ratio, which is more than 2. Urine albumin excretion is more than 40 milligram per square meter per hour, or we say more than 3.5 gram per day, 24 hours. That is, urine protein is more than 50 milligram per kilogram per 24 hours. That approximately comes out to be 3.5 gram per day. Because of this, the person develops severe hypoalbuminemia. So albumin is less than 2.5. Secondary, due to hypoproteinemia, person develops edema, hyperlipidemia. Because of hyperlipidemia, lipiduria, and there is also associated hypercoagulability. And this hyperlipidemia is seen by serum cholesterol more than 200 milligram per deciliter. So urine albumin creatinine ratio is more than 2:1. So classical clinical syndrome, which is characterized by 4 findings, we call heavy proteinuria, that is 1 gram per square meter per day, or we say 40 milligram per square meter per hour, or more than 3.5 gram per 24 hours, or 50 milligram per kilogram per 24 hours. Because of this, person develops severe hypoproteinemia, albumin is less than 2.5, urine albumin creatinine ratio is more than 2. Because of severe hypoproteinemia, generalized anasarca, and there is associated hyperlipidemia, that is hypercholesterolemia more than 250 milligram per deciliter, hypercoagulated stage, and this lipid is thrown out in urine, we call it a lipiduria. But very important, there should not be any other cause of hypoproteinemia like liver, GI tract, malnutrition, etc. should be ruled out. Now classification wise, we take either primary or secondary, and there is one more terminology which is utilized, is we call genetic. If we go through the etiology, one is genetic, and we divide mainly into primary and secondary. Primary is also called idiopathic or primary. And in primary nephrotic syndrome, we have got the two groups: simple nephrotic syndrome and nephritic nephrotic syndrome. While in secondary, it is usually due to damage to kidney because of systemic disorders and other etiologies. And there is one group we call as a congenital nephrotic syndrome, which is usually seen in children's less than 6 months old, and by good number of time it is steroid resistant. So now we have got two big groups, primary and secondary. Primary is also called idiopathic. So there is one group in primary we call as idiopathic, and another etiology we call minimal change glomerulonephropathy. There is another variety we call as a focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. Third variety, membranous nephropathy. And there is another group we call as a congenital nephrotic syndrome. While in a systemic variety, we have got a systemic disease. Two classical example we call as diabetes mellitus and SLE. SLE will produce vasculitis and will produce a damage to the kidney and ends up with nephrotic syndrome. In infection, we have got one big group we call as a post-infectious glomerulonephritis, and one of the most common cause is post-streptococcal infection, which we call as a streptococcal glomerulonephritis, nephrotic variety. There are other infectious group we call as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, syphilis, malaria, etc. Among drugs, penicillamine, gold and NSAID accounts for the most common group which will produce nephrotic syndrome. Malignancy, we have got multiple myeloma, lymphomas, leukemia, and toxins and allergens, particularly bee sting, certain food allergy can produce nephrotic syndrome. So in secondary, the most common is diabetes and SLE. Another common is amyloidosis. Infection, we have already told you, hepatitis B, C, HIV infection and post-streptococcal infection, glomerulonephritis. Among malignancy, we have already told you multiple myeloma, Hodgkin's and other solid tumors. Drugs, gold, penicillamine, NSAID and other heavy metals. As far as pathophysiology is concerned, there is an increased proteinuria which will result into hypoproteinemia, and hypoproteinemia because of decreased colloidal osmotic pressure will end up into generalized anasarca. This is a complicated diagram which shows you there are certain things which happens in a nephrotic syndrome. There is a platelet count is increased, thrombophilia, there is a platelet aggregation, activation of factor 5, 8, von Willebrand factor, alpha 2 plasmin inhibitor is activated, plasminogen activator, inhibitor factor 1, fibrinogen, etc. are all elevated. Because of this, plasminogen is reduced. There is increased antithrombin 3, even possibly protein C and protein S is also elevated. All this produces damage to the glomerular basement membrane, particularly we call podocytes, and when there is a damage to podocytes, there is an increased permeability to protein and person develops massive proteinuria. Because of this massive proteinuria, the proteinuria is more than 3.5 gram in 24 hours. Person will develop severe hypoproteinemia, and because of hypoproteinemia, decreased colloidal osmotic pressure and edema, and secondary production of protein by liver, there is associated increased production of lipids. The person will end up with hypercholesterolemia, and these lipids, extra lipids will be thrown out in urine. We get lipiduria, and there will be appearance of lipids in urine. So proteinuria will produce loss of protein, and because of that, person has got edema and hepatic synthesis of lipoproteins are increased, and it produces lipiduria, which can be seen in these photographs. Because of decreased production, there is associated decreased immunoglobulins, and because of decreased production of immunoglobulins, the person has got a very high chance of recurrent infections, we call recurrent UTI. Because of loss of transport protein, there is a decreased vitamin D, and that will end up with abnormal calcium metabolism. There is decreased thyroxine level available in blood, which can increase chance of hypothyroidism. So these are associated features along with nephrotic syndrome. This is a very good diagram showing you many other factors which happens along with nephrotic syndrome. So because of increased filtration of plasma protein, there is a albuminuria. Because of albuminuria, person will have a hypoproteinemia, we call it as a hypoalbuminemia. Because of this decreased protein in blood, that is protein part in the blood, the person will develop edema. Because of decreased osmotic pressure, and because of this, the liver will start synthesizing excess of protein and lipoproteins. So this lipoprotein level will be increased, so we get hyperlipidemia, cholesterol level will be elevated, and because of this lipid level being elevated, the person will also develop lipiduria. Now because of increased protein filtration, there is a abnormal turnover of immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulin levels decreases. There is an increased chance of infection. There is a reduced cellular immunity, and that also increases the chance of infection. Because of urinary loss of proteins, the protein which carries hormones, metals and vitamins are being decreased. Because of decreased protein level, there is alteration in the coagulative factors. I have already shown you in the previous slides that there is increased production of certain amounts of material like protein C, protein S, etc., and which increases the chance of thromboembolism. Increased tubular reabsorption of filter protein. There is a tubular damage, so tubular dysfunction will take place, which will decrease your GFR, and there will be water retention. Tubular catabolism of albumin is increased, which also adds up with hypoproteinemia, that is hypoalbuminemia. This is described under two types of pathophysiology we call underfill pathophysiology and overfill pathophysiology. According to underfill pathophysiology, which I have got a simplified diagram, I will show you in the next diagram, that because of albuminuria, hypoproteinemia, decrease oncotic pressure, water from intravascular compartment comes to the extravascular compartment, there is a hypovolemia. Because of hypovolemia, there is an increased sympathetic system activity. There is a non-osmotic ADH release. There is a RAS system activation. All these things will result into retention of sodium and water. And because of increased retention of sodium and water, there will be hypervolemia. And this will further reduce oncotic pressure. And all these conditions will end up with edema formation. And I go back to the previous slide. You can see the same thing what is being shown here. There is increased vasopressin release. Atrial natriuretic peptide is also released, or the production becomes less, which is just opposite of the ADH hormone. Renin and angiotensin system is being activated. All this results in sodium retention and water retention. Because of vasopressin, there is a water retention. Because of RAS system, sodium and water retention, and it will end up with edema. In overfill pathophysiology, there is a primary tubular damage causing sodium retention, which will produce vasopressin, which will be elevated, normally raised plasma volume, ANP level will be elevated, aldosterone level will be decreased, and because of which there will be release of what we call as these different hormones will become normal, and there will be pure sodium retention only. So these are the two hypotheses which are put forward, and depending upon what is playing a role, there is a formation of edema. This is called overfill pathophysiology, in which there is ANP, intrinsic factor resistance to kidney to ANP action, and that results into overfill pathophysiology. All this will finally end up with generalized anasarca. So usually because of this, you can see here that proteinuria results into increased production of lipoproteins in liver, and that will produce hyperlipidemia, and that lipid will start appearing in urine. And because of decreased oncotic pressure, there is an edema formation, and because of edema, there is a release of ADH hormone. There is an increased production of aldosterone, which will result into sodium and water retention. And because of increased production of aldosterone, you can have associated alkalosis and hypokalemia. And these are the things which can be seen in a case of a nephrotic syndrome. So now we go to the clinical features. Because of severe hypoproteinemia, generalized anasarca, hypertension, very rarely person will have hypotension, hypercoagulation that will give rise to thromboembolic phenomena, hyperlipidemia, and this lipid will be thrown out in urine and you will get lipiduria. Depending upon the basic etiology, person can have additional symptoms and signs, and person will have symptoms and signs because of hypoproteinemia. That is, we call as a proteinuria, hypoalbumin, generalized anasarca, and secondary hyperlipidemia and lipiduria. So Because of generalized anasarca, periorbital edema, puffiness of face, scrotal and vulval edema, ankle and leg edema, marked weight gain, ascites, malaise. Even because of intestinal edema, person can develop diarrhea, loss of appetite. And because of pulmonary edema and pleural effusion, person can have a respiratory distress. So weight gain is very common, puffiness of face, abdominal swelling, pleural effusion, labial and scrotal swelling. Because of intestinal mucosal swelling, diarrhea, anorexia, poor intestinal absorption. And secondary involvement of the brain. Person is irritable, he gets easily fatigued, lethargic, blood pressure may be normal or slightly elevated. Sometimes it is slightly decreased. He is more susceptible to infection, particularly respiratory tract infection and urinary tract infection. And in urine, you will see a massive proteinuria, decreased urine output, frothy urine, and even on the top layer, you will see a lipids, shiny fat globules will be seen. This is a classical picture of a nephrotic syndrome, which you can see in this diagram. Pitting edema can be 1 plus up to 4 plus depending upon the severity of hypoproteinemia, and it is scored system is 1 plus is ankle edema, 2 plus is ankle plus leg edema, 3 plus is ankle plus leg edema up to knee, 4 plus is edema up to thigh, 5 plus is edema of thigh with ascites and there is an sacral fluid, and 6 is called edema to the thigh with ascites and with pleural effusion. These are the scoring system which are being utilized. In congenital nephrotic syndrome, it presents in first 3 months of the life. There is a generalized anasarca, hypoproteinemia and oliguria. It is called Finnish type nephrotic syndrome. Antenatally detectable, there is a raised alpha fetoprotein in maternal serum and amniotic fluid, and usually the child will have a failure to thrive, recurrent infections, hypothyroidism, and will go into chronic renal failure within 2 to 3 years. In a case of a minimal change nephrotic syndrome, it is most common 70 to 80% of the time. Male to female ratio is 2:1. Usually the age is less than 7 years. It is steroid sensitive or steroid resistance. Do not progress to renal failure, often precipitated by respiratory infections. So usually classical features are age between 1 to 10 years. There is no macroscopic hematuria, normal blood pressure, normal complement level, and nearly close to normal renal functions. This is a diagram which shows you the difference between minimal change, focal segmental, and membranous nephropathy. I don't go into detail. You can go through in a leisure time. In investigations, usually history is very important. History of medication, particularly penicillamine, heavy metals, gold, etc. Recent surgery, infections, obesity, strong family history. If you are suspecting secondary etiology, blood tests should be done for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV infections. Complement levels are reduced, ANA will be positive, cryoglobulin level may be elevated, VDRL and ASO titer may be done. Imaging study is usually done in a chest X-ray to find out the amount of involvement of the respiratory system in case of nephrotic syndrome, particularly pulmonary edema and bilateral pleural effusion. Renal ultrasound is useful to identify the size of the kidney. Laboratory investigation like urine examination, complete blood count, blood picture. In urine examination, spot urine, particularly spot urine protein, that is we call urine albumin creatinine ratio, which is more than 2. Urine protein is more than 4 plus, and if you calculate the total urine excretion, it is more than 3 gram, 3.5 gram in 24 hours. Liver function test will be abnormal. It will show you decreased level of immunoglobulins, hypoproteinemia, hypoalbumin, and person will also have an increased production of cholesterol. So hyperlipidemia, hypercholesterolemia, and urine will show the presence of lipids, that is lipiduria. to identify the etiology and histopathological diagnosis of a renal biopsy is indicated. So urine showing 3 to 4 plus albumin, urine albumin creatinine ratio more than 2, urine protein excretion more than 40 milligram per square meter per hour, which is approximately 3.5 gram per day, is a typical finding. Creatinine may be normal or may be elevated. Albumin is less than 2.5 gram. Cholesterol is elevated, TGA is elevated, and complement level is usually low. So to confirm the diagnosis, 24-hour urine collection is very important, and if it is more than 3.5 gram per day, it is in favor of nephrotic range. Total protein to creatinine ratio, that is albumin creatinine ratio more than 2, and to find out the possible etiology, history, physical examination is necessary, and then laboratory investigation like serological study and renal biopsy we have already discussed before. To assess the renal function, blood urea, creatinine, sodium, potassium, bicarbonate, chloride, calcium, phosphorus, uric acid, etc. are being done. And to identify the biochemical along with nephrotic syndrome is serum albumin, serum protein, calcium, lipid profile, coagulative test, CBC, etc. are important. For differential diagnosis, you will have to differentiate other causes of hypoproteinemia, particularly protein losing enteropathy, liver failure, in congestive heart failure, acute and chronic glomerulonephritis, and protein malnutrition condition like Kwashiorkor marasmus. Once you make the diagnosis of nephrotic syndrome, general treatment, symptomatic treatment, and immunosuppressive therapy are the main pillar. You may add treatment for edema, anticoagulation therapy, steroids, and immunosuppression. Other is symptomatic treatment for retention of water, water restriction, diuretic if volume is not depleted, protein diet is restricted because it will increase your blood urea. You might have to give IV protein like IV albumin, treat infection if the person has got infection, prophylaxis for thrombosis, that is anticoagulation, and specific therapy we call immunosuppressive therapy with steroids. So diuretic therapy, rest in bed, corticosteroids, avoid NSAID, low sodium, salt restriction, thiazide and loop diuretics, lipid lowering agents, anticoagulants, treatment of diabetes mellitus, treatment of edema, and specific therapy like immunosuppressive therapy. While treating with all those things, person may recover completely. There is a urinary remission, complete remission. There may be relapse in between. Person might have a frequent relapse. Some of the person are steroid dependent, so they require steroid for a longer period of time. And some are not responder or we call resistant, which may require or which may not develop remission in 8 weeks of prednisolone treatment, and they might require other additional treatment. In complication of nephrotic syndrome, the most common complication is hypoproteinemia, which results into malnutrition, infections. There is increased coagulation, and person can develop deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism. There is a premature atherosclerosis because of hyperlipidemia. Because of shifting of the fluid from a intravascular compartment to the extravascular compartment, person develops hypovolemia, and if person develops hypovolemia, person can go into hypotension. Drug related complication can take place. Person very rarely goes into acute renal failure. Bone, because person develops hypocalcemia, person can even develop anemia. Because of generalized anasarca, ascites, pleural effusion, generalized edema, coagulative disorders, coagulation factors affected, so there is an hypercoagulation, thrombosis, recurrent infection, renal failure, usually the chance of going into CKD is more high. Because of malnutrition, growth retardation, calcium and vitamin D deficiency, which will have effect on bone, and there is a protein energy malnutrition. But we can divide complication into two big groups because of decreased oncotic pressure that will produce hypovolemia, AKI, anasarca, and hyperlipidemia secondary because of increased production of lipid by liver. And because of anasarca, you can have cellulitis, bacterial peritonitis, large pleural effusion, and even pulmonary edema. And because of a loss of protein, there is decreased immunoglobulins, they are susceptible to infections. And because of abnormal level of protein C and antithrombin 3, there is increased thromboembolism. Vitamin D binding proteins are reduced, so person develops vitamin D deficiency and hypocalcemia and bone disorders. And transferrin level are also reduced, so person has got a high chance of development of iron deficiency anemia, and invariably person can go into CKD. I end my lecture here. I hope this must be helpful to you. We'll see you in a next lecture.